Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today,
Mm.
we're cracking the code on something that's both fascinating and a little bit heartbreaking.
Oh,
The
yeah.
psychology behind why a woman might miss her ex. You know those moments when she can't help but think about him,
Yeah.
even though the relationship is over?
Mhm.
Intrigued. I know I am. We're going deep into an article called The Surprising Triggers That Make Her Miss You Most and Why They Matter.
Okay.
So buckle up, because this deep dive is going to take you on a journey into the heart of female emotions and the complexities of relationships. And hey, if you're new here, hit that red button to subscribe and comment, "I've subscribed," so I can personally welcome you. Now, let's get into it.
What's really interesting here is that it's not just about time or distance. There are specific emotional triggers that can bring those feelings rushing back.
Okay, so we're not talking about some magical formula to make someone miss you, right?
Right. It's more about understanding the underlying psychology, the emotional needs that might be going unmet,
Mhm.
which can make those feelings of longing resurface.
Got it. So let's jump right in. The article outlines 11 of these surprising triggers, and we're going to explore each one in detail.
Sounds good.
The first theme we'll tackle is the power of validation. And trigger number one is all about feeling unseen.
Think about it this way. Everyone wants to feel appreciated and recognized for who they are, right?
Yeah.
So when a woman doesn't feel seen or valued in her current life, it can make her think back to a time when she did feel that way, perhaps with a past partner.
It's almost like her brain is trying to fill a void,
Yeah.
searching for that sense of worth and recognition that's missing.
Exactly. And this connects directly to trigger number 8, hearing about your success. It's that bittersweet feeling she might get when she hears about her ex doing well.
Oh, yeah.
On one hand, she's genuinely happy for him, but there might also be a tinge of sadness, a sense of missing out on being part of his life and celebrating his achievements with him.
So it's not necessarily about wanting him back,
Yeah,
but more about missing that feeling of connection and belonging,
right.
like she was once a part of something special.
And it highlights how important those feelings of validation and belonging are, especially for women.
All right, on to the next theme, the disruption of routine.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, this one really resonated with me.
Okay.
Trigger number two is about how changes in routine can trigger those pangs of missing an ex. You know, it's those little everyday things,
Yeah.
like missing morning texts or the ritual of cooking dinner together
Yeah.
that suddenly become magnified in their absence.
Routines provide a sense of comfort and predictability. They create a shared rhythm in a relationship. So when those routines are disrupted, it's not just the activity itself that's missing, it's the emotional connection and sense of security that went along with it.
It's like those routines were little anchors,
Yeah.
holding things together.
Yeah.
And when they're gone, it can feel like a part of you is adrift.
Exactly. And this ties in perfectly with trigger number 9, holidays or special occasions. These are times when we're often surrounded by traditions and memories. And if she spent those times with her ex in the past, it can really amplify those feelings of nostalgia and loss.
It's like those special occasions become giant neon signs pointing to his absence.
And it's important to remember that these feelings aren't necessarily about wanting to go back to that exact relationship, but more about missing the comfort and familiarity that it represented.
This is all so fascinating. Okay, on to theme number 3. And this one is all about the magnification of loneliness.
This is where things can get really interesting. Trigger number 3, lonely moments, explores how existing feelings of loneliness can intensify longing for a past relationship.
So it's not that being alone automatically makes her think about her ex.
Yeah.
But if she's already feeling lonely,
Right.
those feelings might make her think back to a time when those needs for connection were being met.
Precisely. Imagine she's at a party, surrounded by people, but she still feels disconnected and alone. That's when those feelings of loneliness can become almost unbearable, and she might find herself longing for the comfort and understanding of a past partner.
And I bet trigger number 7, navigating social events alone, plays a huge role here.
Absolutely. These are the situations where she might feel her ex's absence most acutely, events where he was once her plus one, her source of comfort and support in social settings.
It's like she's missing that shared experience, that feeling of having someone by her side who gets her and makes her feel at ease.
And it really underscores the importance of emotional support and feeling understood, especially in those situations that can be inherently anxiety-provoking.
You know, it makes me wonder, have you ever felt your own loneliness amplified in certain situations?
Of course, we all have. It's a common human experience, and understanding this can give us a lot of empathy for what someone might be going through when they're missing an ex.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive into theme 4, The reality check of comparison. This one is so relatable.
Trigger number 4, comparing others to you is all about how meeting new people can actually trigger thoughts of an ex. It's not necessarily about idealizing the past or thinking that the ex was perfect. It's more about recognizing the unique qualities that he brought to the relationship, qualities that might be missing in these new encounters.
So it's not about finding someone better, but about realizing that each person brings something different to the table. And sometimes those differences highlight what was special about that past connection.
Exactly. She might meet someone who's kind and funny, but their sense of humor isn't quite the same as her ex's, or maybe they're attentive, but not in the same way that he was.
It's those subtle nuances, those unique ways of connecting that can trigger those comparisons and make her miss those specific qualities.
And this brings us to trigger number 10, receiving kind gestures from others. Even acts of kindness from other people can sometimes highlight what was special about her past relationship. It's like those gestures, however well-intentioned, inadvertently remind her of the specific ways her ex showed he cared.
So it's not about diminishing the kindness of others, but more about recognizing that each person expresses affection in their own unique way.
Right. And sometimes those differences can be stark enough to trigger those feelings of missing her ex.
Okay, ready for theme 5. This one gets to the heart of what we often crave most in relationships.
Let's get into it. This one is all about longing for support and connection. And trigger number 5, times of struggle, is pretty self-explanatory. When we're facing challenges, we naturally crave support.
And who do we often think of during those times? The people who have been there for us in the past, the ones who we know we could always count on.
Exactly. And for a woman, this might mean thinking about her ex, especially if he was someone who provided a strong sense of support and security in the past.
And this links to trigger number 11, when she reflects on her mistakes.
Yeah.
Hindsight can be a powerful thing, right?
Absolutely. When she reflects on a past relationship, she might start to see her own contributions to the breakup more clearly. And that self-awareness, while healthy, can actually intensify feelings of longing.
While she's realizing the value of what she lost.
Yeah.
And that could be a painful realization.
And this delves into the realm of attachment theory and how our past relationships shape our expectations and desires in future ones.
We're really getting into the nitty-gritty of this now. This is so insightful. You know, it really makes you think about the nature of support and who you turn to in times of need, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and it highlights how important it is to have a strong support system, both romantically and in our friendships and family relationships.
This has been incredible so far, but we're just getting started. We still have one more theme to explore those. Reminders of shared joy.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon to unpack the final trigger and explore what all of this means for understanding female emotions and the complexity of relationships. Welcome back to our deep dive into the surprising triggers that can make a woman miss her ex.
Before the break, we were discussing the longing for support and connection.
You're right. That can emerge during challenging times. But I'm excited to move into our final theme, which is all about reminders of shared joy.
This is where the power of visual cues really comes into play. And it's not always about big romantic gestures. Sometimes the simplest things can be the most evocative.
So spill the tea. What kind of triggers are we talking about here? Trigger number 6. Seeing happy couples is a perfect example. Imagine walking down the street and seeing a couple laughing together, holding hands, or just enjoying each other's company. It's a seemingly ordinary moment. But for someone who's missing their ex, it can be like a punch to the gut.
Ouch. I could see how that would be tough.
Yeah.
But the article makes it clear it's not necessarily about envy.
Right. It's not that she wants their relationship or wishes them ill. It's more that the sight of their happiness triggers a flood of memories about the joy and companionship she once shared with her ex. It's like a reminder of what she's missing.
It's like her brain is making an instant connection between what she sees and what she longs for. Kind of like a reflex.
Exactly. Our brains are wired to make associations, so when she sees a happy couple, it's natural for her mind to link that image to her own past experiences of happiness and connection.
And those shared moments with her ex suddenly feel even more precious because they're gone. Like she's looking at a snapshot of a time when she felt that same level of joy and connection.
And this highlights the powerful role that visual cues play in our emotional lives. It's not just about what we see, but also the feelings and memories those images evoke. A single visual can unlock a whole floodgate of emotions.
Okay, so we've covered 11 different triggers.
Yeah.
Each one offering a glimpse into the intricate web of emotions a woman might experience when she misses her ex. But Are we saying that these feelings are inevitable? Like, if she experiences these triggers, is she doomed to pine for him forever?
Not at all. What's important is understanding the psychology behind these triggers. It's about recognizing that these feelings are often rooted in universal human needs. The need for connection, validation, support, and belonging.
So by understanding these triggers, she can learn to navigate those feelings when they arise.
Precisely.
It's like having a roadmap for her emotions.
Knowledge is power. When she understands why she's feeling a certain way, she can approach those emotions with more self-awareness and compassion. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, she can see them as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery.
I love that. It's about taking control of the narrative, not letting those feelings control her.
Exactly. And it's also crucial to remember that these triggers don't necessarily mean she's meant to get back together with her ex.
That's a really important point. It's so easy to get caught up in those feelings and think that they mean something more than they do.
Sometimes. These feelings are simply a reflection of the positive aspects of that past relationship. They're a reminder of the good times, the joy and connection they shared, and that's okay.
It's like cherishing those memories without letting them define her present or her future.
And that moving forward can lead to new opportunities for growth, healing, and even deeper, more fulfilling connections.
Wow, this entire deep dive has been so eye-opening. It's incredible how these seemingly small moments can trigger such a cascade of complex emotions.
It really underscores the intricacies of human relationships, the enduring power of memory, and the importance of understanding the psychology behind our emotions.
Before we move on, I want to give a shout out to the article that inspired this entire conversation, The Surprising Triggers That Make Her Miss You Most and Why They Matter. It's a fantastic read if you want to delve even deeper into these ideas.
Absolutely. It's full of insights that can help anyone understand their own emotional landscape and the dynamics of relationships, past and present.
Okay, so now that we've unpacked all 11 triggers, are you ready to synthesize some key takeaways? I know I'm scribbling notes like crazy over here.
Let's do it. It's time to connect the dots and see the bigger picture.
Okay, so first and foremost, we've learned that missing an ex isn't just about the passage of time. There are specific psychological triggers that can evoke those feelings, often in the most unexpected ways.
And these triggers are often tied to those fundamental human needs we've been talking about: feeling seen, appreciated, connected, and supported.
Right, and by recognizing these needs and understanding the psychology behind these triggers, a woman can start to navigate those emotions in a healthier, more empowered way.
It's all about cultivating self-awareness, practicing self-compassion, and realizing that moving forward, even if it's painful at times, can open up new possibilities for growth and fulfillment.
This has been such a thought-provoking discussion. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway from this deep dive?
For me, it's the realization that these triggers aren't necessarily negative. They can actually provide valuable insights into our emotional needs and patterns in relationships. They're like little messengers, pointing us towards what we truly value and what we might be missing in our lives right now.
I love that perspective. It's not about dwelling in the past, but about using these experiences as opportunities for self-discovery and growth.
Exactly. And it reminds us that even though relationships may end, the lessons we learn and the memories we create can continue to shape our lives in meaningful ways. They become part of our story, helping us understand who we are and what we want for the future.
Man, that's such a beautiful way to put it. It's like those past relationships, even the ones that ended, were stepping stones on the path to becoming our best selves.
And that path can lead to incredible places if we're open to learning and growing along the way.
This has been such an incredible conversation. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of this topic, but I'm so grateful for your insights.
It's been my pleasure, and who knows, maybe this conversation will spark some new insights and reflections for our listeners as well.
I hope so. And to our amazing listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Get ready for a thought-provoking question coming up in the final part. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive, exploring those surprising triggers that can make a woman miss her ex. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has.
We uncovered 11 specific triggers, each shedding light on the complex emotional landscape of relationships.
And we've discovered that these triggers often point to those deep-seated human needs for connection, validation, support, and belonging. Needs that are so universal, yet often overlooked. It's like we've been peeling back the layers of an onion, revealing the raw, vulnerable truth about why these seemingly small moments can pack such an emotional punch. But here's the thing. Throughout this deep dive, I've been struck by how much we tend to focus on the negative aspects of missing someone. What if we shifted our perspective?
I like where you're going with this. Instead of seeing these feelings as a sign of weakness or regression, what if we viewed them as valuable opportunities for growth and self-discovery?
Exactly. Because understanding the why behind these feelings can be so empowering. It allows us to take control of the narrative instead of feeling swept away by a tide of emotion.
It's about recognizing that these feelings, while sometimes painful, can actually be incredibly insightful. They offer a glimpse into our deepest needs and desires, showing us what we truly value in a relationship, and perhaps what might be missing in our lives right now.
It's like those triggers are little whispers from our subconscious, guiding us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and what makes us tick.
And as we become more aware of our needs, we can start to make conscious choices that bring more fulfillment and joy into our lives. Maybe it's seeking out deeper connections with friends and family, or perhaps it's exploring new passions that ignite our sense of purpose.
It's about turning those feelings of longing into fuel for personal growth and creating a life that truly lights us up, regardless of our relationship status.
And who knows, that newfound sense of wholeness and self-love might even attract the kind of love that truly aligns with our values and fulfills our needs in a way that's healthy and sustainable.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with a final question to ponder, something to really spark some introspection. Ready for it?
Bring it on.
Think about all the triggers we've discussed, from feeling unseen to navigating social events alone. What do these triggers reveal about the importance of feeling truly seen, understood, and supported in our relationships, both past and present?
That's a powerful question. It encourages us to reflect not only on our romantic relationships, but also on our connections with friends, family, and even ourselves. Are we creating space for genuine connection? Are we nurturing those bonds in a way that feels authentic and fulfilling?
It's a reminder that our need for love and belonging runs deep,
Huh?
and it deserves to be honored and cherished. So much of what we've talked about today is about understanding those needs within ourselves. But I'm curious, from your perspective, how can we better show up for the people in our lives in a way that makes them feel truly seen and supported?
That's a great question. I think it starts with active listening, truly being present with someone and trying to understand their perspective without judgment. It's about offering a safe space for them to express themselves fully.
It's about those small acts of kindness and consideration that show someone they're not alone, that they matter.
And sometimes it's simply about being there, offering a shoulder to cry on or a listening ear without trying to fix anything or offer unsolicited advice.
This has been such a rich and insightful conversation, and I can't thank you enough for sharing your wisdom with us today.
The pleasure was all mine. It's always rewarding to delve into these complex topics and explore the nuances of human emotion and connection.
And to our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the surprising triggers that can make a woman miss her ex. We hope this conversation has sparked some new insights and helped you understand the psychology behind these feelings in a way that empowers you to create more fulfilling relationships, starting with the most important one, the relationship you have with yourself. And hey, if you're still listening, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment, letting us know your biggest takeaway from today's episode. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep diving deep and stay curious.